My name is James Mansfield and I own West Village General Contracting, and here is what a successful driver at West Village GC looks like. Manhattan is a complicated city and construction is very, very complicated in a complicated city. And to get everything we need from place to place requires a driver that has certain understanding of how this whole city works. I need you to do it once, which means I need you to be on time. So Manhattan, which is something like that with Central Park in it, we often have projects going up on the Upper East Side, on Midtown West, Lower East Side, and Lower West Side. So if we're running, let's say, 6 or 7 projects in the city, we're going to have 3 site supervisors and 7 site foremen at any one time, all of whom are going to require various different products, materials, etc., manpower moved around the city. So let's take this as job number 1, this is job number 2, and this is job number 3. These 3 projects need product today. I need you to call each of the site supers the night before and find out what their job list or their materials list is for the next day. And then work out that if you're going to be going to Metropolitan Lumber in Midtown at 46th Street, the truck you're picking up from Midtown at 50th Street, it makes sense to go to one of these 2 first. Find out who needs what and what their urgency level is. If job number 2 requires stuff after lunch and job number 3 requires it first thing in the morning, it's a pretty easy workout that your first job is going to be dropping off to number 3. Then call the other 2 and say, I'm going to deliver it to you guys, who needs it more urgently? If they both need it immediately, work out geographically which is going to be the quickest to get to. If you can go straight up 2nd Avenue, very quick. If you're going to come across town and then up and get stuck in traffic, think about how you're working your way around the city. Do it once. Over communicate. Each of these site supers should know whereabouts you are in the city generally at any time. You're going to need to help them unload the materials. You may have to help them load materials and equipment in to take to another job. And at any point in this, you may get a call from job number 4 to say they have something that they need immediately. How do you deal with that? Call number 1 and 2, tell them that number 4 has an issue that they need to address immediately. Will it screw up their day if you address it? If it will, communicate back to this job what the problem is and have the site supers call each other to work out what needs to happen and get back to you. Do it once, over communicate. Be accountable. If you're picking up supplies and materials from different parts of the city, is the truck parked legally? Do you understand the 5 areas in the city that you can park without us getting a ticket? Or, more importantly, we get the ticket but we don't have to pay it. You cannot park on a fire hydrant. You cannot park in a bus stop, and you cannot park in no standing. Other than that, oh, and you can't double park in Midtown. Other than that, you can park in no parking. You can park in various other metered areas where you buy a ticket. If you're parked in one of those 5 that you're not allowed to park in, we have to pay the full ticket. If you're parked in a no parking, not a no standing, we don't pay the ticket. It's free because we're a commercial vehicle. I expect the driver to understand these simple rules of the road for parking and delivery and pickup in New York City. Do it once. Over communicate. Be accountable. Are you buying the materials from the various places in the city in an effective manner? Are you picking up everything from the least expensive and the small things from the more expensive places because it saves you time? I don't need to spend 2 hours in traffic driving somewhere to save $100 on materials when I've got 3 jobs waiting for supplies. There's an accountability in that. Always be learning. Are you starting to really understand how the traffic flows in New York City? Are you using Waze so you understand what the traffic flows are? Are you understanding what it is the different jobs need at different times and starting to assimilate that information? Are you always learning? And lastly, care. Care about your team on the ground. If we've got 4 or 5 guys desperately waiting for materials and it happens to be your lunchtime, shows a great deal of lack of care if you choose to take your lunch rather than making sure the 5 or 6 guys that are anxious to get materials are being served by you. Everything we do revolves around our core values. It also relies deeply on common sense. And if you have those core values and you're an experienced driver with a clean driving record, you're going to be a great fit at West Village General Contracting.